Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jessica Hale, and I'm with the Customer Success team at FreightWaves. I'm here to help you understand how to tap into the power of Sonar. This Sonar 101 webinar is designed to show you how to navigate and use the tools and functionality within the Sonar platform. We will have live Q&A at the end of this session, so please feel free to input any questions you have into the Q&A tool on this webinar, and we'll be sure to get to them at the end of the demonstration. If you would like a deeper dive into understanding the power of all of Sonar's data sets, we'll be happy to set up a dedicated session for you and other users at your company. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the question and answer tool, and we'll be sure to get with them at the end of the webinar. Tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern Time, we'll be hosting the 201, going all about the data sets that matter to you guys in your day-to-day operations. So please feel free to register for that as well. And 11 a.m. on Thursday, we have the Sonar 301 that has our market experts come in and talk about their specific market and what all the data sets that Sonar has to offer. I am going to share my page here real quick. Bear with me. There we go. When you very first get logged into the Sonar platform, you'll be directed to global pages. The global pages are updated by FreightWaves employees only, so you are not able to edit them in any sort of way. The dashboard is set up based off of new data sets, maybe something specifically happening in the industry, or anything that we think that you guys need to be able to view. These change from time to time, so if you see a page underneath global pages that you want to save and work out of, you'll need to copy it and save it down into your My Pages in the bottom left-hand side. To do that, it's really simple. All you have to do is click on Edit Pages, click on the page that you want to copy, and down in the bottom left-hand corner, you just click on the copy button. And this will automatically give you a copy of the dashboard page that you wanted to save out of the global pages. And now you will be able to change the data sets and manipulate that page to what matters to you, add new widgets, anything like that. The best way to stay organized in the platform is creating pages specific to you and your company. To add a page is very simple. You just go again to the bottom left-hand corner that says Edit Pages. A blue plus sign that says Add Page will pop up, and it will ask you to name it. This is good, like I said, to stay organized, whether it's a market that you guys operate in on a regular basis, a customer, or if you just want to name it whatever the data set is that you are viewing. I'm going to name it Sonar 101, and I'm going to click Add. And this will take you to a plain gray blank canvas for you to add all the different widgets that you wish to this specific page. Before I get into adding widgets to this page, I did want to cover a couple of our features in the top right-hand corner. The first one is the moderated chat function, or the double bubble that you can see in the top right-hand corner. And this is a great way to ask specific questions about markets, any questions that you have about data sets, how to view something, navigating, or something going on in the news that you want to talk about. You can do so within this moderated chat function, and you will automatically come up as a number. And this is just for you guys to be anonymous. You can come up to your profile and change that to whatever name you wish. And you will have FreightWaves employees come back and chat back with you. As you can see, we have a D right here, and that is Donnie Gilbert. He is one of our market experts. So you'll have customer success, market experts, data analyst, or sometimes even our CEO, Craig Fuller, will pop in here and answer as well. The next one is Sonar Sue, and this is the announcement page that we have that populates every time we have an announcement. We do a lot of features and data sets, usually every weekend or maybe every other weekend, depending on what's available. And it will save an archive down here all the way back to 43. So as you can see, this past weekend, we've added a couple new features in Sonar, and you can read about it and watch the video that we have available for you all. The next one is our document library, market insights and research. This is one of my favorite functions that we've added since May. And it houses all of our daily watch letters that come out every day at 10 a.m. It houses our market insights, our deep dives, and also our research papers. You can preview them, download them, print them, give them out to others in your office, and download it to your computer. We also have research papers. Sorry about that. Our research papers are about 20 to 60 pages long around a given topic. We have an entire team dedicated for giving you guys this research. It's research you cannot get anywhere else. We do carrier surveys, shipper surveys, talk about hot topics. So you can read these research papers and dig in deep into whatever topic we're covering that day or that week. These are also available for free with your Sonar subscription, and you can preview them and download them to your computer as well. The next one over here is our My Sonar tools. My Custom Indices is where your company can upload their tender information into Sonar and compare them to our data. So you could see your outbound tender volume or outbound tender rejection index relative to our data points. My Map Layers is where you can add customer locations onto the map, overlay other data sets like volumes or rejections to see how those specific customers are affected by whatever data set that you wish to look at. I'll show that a little bit more when I get to the map function. The next one over here, the question mark, houses our Knowledge Center and our Contact Us. Our Knowledge Center houses all of our information about all the data sets that we have, navigation questions, how to add widgets, how to build pages. And under Indices by Sonar category, this is the exact same category breakout as it is on our chart and Watchlist as well. And it will tell you everything you need to know about whichever data set you're looking at. For example, I'll just scroll down here, show you market volume insights, and this houses all of our tender data, all of our tendered volume data. You can click on head haul index and it will give you an in-depth description on head haul, why is it important and what does it tell me. This is a great tool that you should always have up if you have questions or if you want to see what more data is out there that you want to know about. This is updated every week when we add data in as well. I'm going to jump back over here to our Sonar 101 page that I am creating. One other thing that I wanted to add is that you can share pages with other Sonar users. So say you're creating a page around a specific customer, you think it is great, and you want to share it to other people that have access to Sonar and can look at the same dashboard. So you guys will all be working under the same page. You can see the same data every single day without having to screenshot it and send it out. You can share a link to them. So all you have to do is click on the page you want to share, click on the share function on the left-hand side, and it will populate a link. If you copy that link, you can share it via email, via chat, anything that you wish. And when that user clicks on it, it will take them to their Sonar login and populate as a copy of. So copy of Sonar 101, and they will have the same access as you will. So I'm going to go to Sonar 101 right here and start building a page. If you go up to the right-hand corner, you will see the blue plus sign. And this is these are all of the widgets that you can click on and add to your page. You can add as many widgets as you wish to where you can view appropriately, and it automatically saves. So the very last thing you do on that page, whether it is adding a widget, adding a data set, or deleting anything, that is what saves. There's no save button. It's the very last thing that is done on that page. And when you come in the next morning, you can pull up that page and everything will already be there for you to view. The first one is the news section. I'm going to go through each one and kind of just walk through basic navigation on how to go about using them. The first one is the RSS news feeds. If you click on that and enable scrolling mode, it will give you all the categories that you can choose from to view news about. So if you want to look at transportation news, technology, and anything about Sonar, and if you click Save, this will populate a scrolling feed of news articles for you to be able to view. This is great to learn more about the industry and how things are affecting it. Once you hover over, it will stop, the scrolling will stop, and you can click on it, and it will take you to that specific article that was written. X out of here and go back to social media. Go back up to the blue plus sign and click on social media flash content. And this is basically a news widget based off of social media. So this little blue arrow on the left-hand side has all of the subjects that you can look for specifically, and over 30,000 Twitter feeds that we have manually selected that have impact to the transportation industry. There's 30,000 of them, a lot of them for you to choose from. So if you want to click on a couple things like logistics, maritime, and trucking, you can also click this bottom tab right here and turn on the scrolling mode and click Save, and it will populate that's the tweets or the social media for you to view on here. The same thing, you can hover over it and click on it, and it will take you to that to Twitter or whatever that feed is. You can also type in hashtags on here as well to view a specific topic that you want to view. So for example, I'm just going to type in Dorian, and it will populate specific for that subject that you're typing in. The next one is the calendar. And the calendar shows U.S. holidays, FreightWaves news. We are working on putting perishables in there, making it a little bit cleaner for you guys to view. So if you see that in there, we're working on making that easier for you guys to view. But basically the calendar will populate any holidays that we have. As you can see, Labor Day right here, and also all of the FreightWaves articles that are populated for that specific day. So if something happened in the market on September 5th that you want to go back and look at, all of those articles that are published on the 5th or on the 6th or on the given day that they're published. I'm going to X out of this, and I'm going to skip down a couple and start with the map. The map is usually the easiest one for everybody to kind of grasp. So I'm going to start there. The maps are broken out by 135 our X markets. We receive the map breakout from DAT since we are partnered with them. So the X market breakouts are by 3-digit zip codes, and they are the same as DAT. On the left-hand side is all of the tabs that you can choose to overlay onto the map. So the first one is the date tab. You can click on this and look at historical data and on a specific day that you want to go back and look at. The second one is the map layer, and you can turn your satellite on and off, and you can also display the locations that you added. For example, this is Pilot Flying J that we have added in here all of their locations. So you can see where those specific locations are relative to the markets in Sonar. It will tell you the exact address, and you can also add a note in each address as well. So you can see maybe if you upload a customer location and you want to see their hours of service, or I'm sorry, hours of operation, whether they'll maybe load a refrigerated unit or contact information, you can add that note into each individual address. To do that is really simple. It's an Excel CSV file. All you do is click on this blue pencil, and it will give you the option to add the CSV file. You can also overlay data underneath this. I'm just going to do this real quick and we'll go back and explain it a little bit more. But if you wanted to see outbound tender reject index, and you also wanted to see it relative to your locations. As you can see, Little Rock, Arkansas right here, the market, there's 4 locations lying within Little Rock. So the darker the blue, the higher the percent of the rejection rate. So those 4 locations might need a little bit of attention. You might want to call on them, might need to plan your load board a certain way to make sure freight's covered appropriately out of those locations. You can use it for cold calling customers. The sky's the limit with it. It's very, very good for a lot of different tools within your business. The next one is the Freight Data tab, and I will walk through this again. Or I'm sorry, I will walk through this. I didn't walk through it yet. Make sure your freight data is turned on. And right underneath that is our granularity levels. Like I said, it is automatically starts with US markets, our 135X markets, but you can also look at Canadian markets, US states, regions, and PAD markets as well. Always make sure your Core Plus settings are turned on, and you can scroll through all of the different indices that you are able to view on a map underneath that specific granularity level. You can also type in once you are familiar with our data sets, and you can bring them up by typing them in as well. The next one we're going to go over is the Sonar Analytics tab. And this is basically going to show volatility in a market. So we have 4 different indices that you can view for volatility: outbound volume, rejections, head haul, and tender lead time. And you can click any one of these and it will show volatility in the market. So for example, I'm going to look up head haul volatility, and you can see by turning on the legend, a bright green is a strong increase and a bright red is a strong decrease. So this is showing those high highs and those low lows in a given market in a given index. So this is a great way to view kind of just volatility in the market. It is the single day measurement in that market over the last 365 days that show volatility. So anything that's going out of its normal. The next one is our rail data. You can turn the rail data on, click off of any rail lines that you do not wish to see. You can also overlay data sets underneath this as well. So you can do volumes, rejections underneath the rail lines as well. The next one is our weather and traffic layer settings. Our road conditions, our weather road conditions, show if the road is dry, wet, icy, possible closure based off of snow. And as you can see in the top right-hand corner, we have a 48-hour timestamp. So you can play this 48 hours in advance. After a winter storm or a rainstorm passes, the actual roads still are wet or still icy or still have snow on them, and that is what this tool is used for. You can zoom into a market, more roads will appear, and you can play in advance to see how the roads react to the weather. The next thing that we have is traffic. So the traffic is based off of low congestion or severe congestion. This also, you can zoom into any given market and more roads will appear for you to be able to view. zooming into Atlanta here and it's thinking. As you can see, you have a lot of red in Atlanta, always traffic around this time of day. You can also throw up road cameras to view that as well. The more you zoom in to a market with road cameras, more road cameras will populate. We have 20,000 DOT road cameras that update every 10 minutes for you guys to view. I'm going to click on one here. If it will let me. Well, that's not a good picture, but you can see there's a lot of traffic there. This is great for a lot of different reasons. You can look at weather this way. You can look at to see if there really is traffic in an area where your drivers are. You can send them to your shipper. I did this very often when I worked in this space just to show what's going on, maybe where your driver's at or where at their location the weather is. It's a great tool. And when you do zoom into a market and you do want the camera updated, all you do is click the top right to redo camera search. The next thing I'm going to cover is location forecast. So make sure your location forecast is turned on. And as you can see, the Atlanta market is a pretty big market. So say you have a load, you know, picking up in Rome, Georgia, which is way up here, and the Atlanta market is down here. If you click exactly where your load's picking up and click on location forecast, this will tell you the weather for that specific city or longitude, latitude that you are picking. It will show the road conditions, if they're dry or wet, the road temp, air temp. It will show you ice on the road, wind speed, wind gust for that specific location and not the Atlanta market as a whole. Another really great thing is when you click on a market, like I have Atlanta here, it will bring up every single data point that we have relative to the Atlanta market. You can spawn a chart from every one of these to view by clicking the chart button and view multiple different data sets all within looking at the map. I'll get into the chart a little bit more in a second. The last thing I'm going to look at on the map is the Critical Events Center. The Critical Events Center is a great way to view how weather is affecting the transportation industry. We have 5 different assets that we track: airports, canals, ports, railroads, and refineries. So that is all the little green and orange donuts that you see on the map here. You can zoom in and more of those donuts will appear, and can zoom in. Let's see, let's look at Jacksonville. Click on the little donut here. You can see the airport and you can see the port of Jacksonville is showing green. We're all clear. The risk is a 1 out of 25. So the Jacksonville airport and Jacksonville port is looking pretty good. We track severe weather watches, flooding, tropical storms, earthquakes, wildfires, snow. We track a lot of different weather. As you can see, we have some weather outlook here. We have flooding, precipitation out in Arizona. Looks like the Sky Harbor Airport right here is at a 17 out of 25 risk. You can see the possible risk is precipitation and flooding. We have about 2 days remaining on this threat. The conditions right now are scattered clouds. It will tell you what address that you're looking at for this specific asset. You can see the threats and notification log from any of our weather alerts, and it will show you the forecast of the risk as well as temperature and accumulated precipitation as well. One of my favorite things about this is that you can view hurricanes as well to see how and when it's going to affect the market. As you can see, Jerry right here, we're a little bit off the coast, so I'm not thinking that's going to affect us in any sort of way. But if you click on any of those storms, it will show you if there's any assets in the way of that storm that could possibly be affected. Winds, it will tell you where the storm's moving to. It will show you historical and forecasted models for that specific storm, which is really cool. Started way down here, made its way up here, and we have a couple different forecasting models. Look like it's gone back out to sea. So it's a great thing to view, especially as a hurricane's getting a little bit closer to the United States. But again, this affects ships, vessels coming in, can affect the movement of freight. A couple other fun things we have over here. We have overlays that you can do on the map that is really cool. We have cloud coverage, precipitation, which is cool. You can see them all the way around those hurricanes, which I think are pretty cool. And snowfall is going to be one of those big ones that happen here in the next couple months. X out of critical events here, and I am going to hop on over to charts. Go back up to the plus sign and click on a chart. This is a blank chart, and to add data sets, all you have to do is click on enter symbol in the top left-hand corner. We have these indices broken out by categories. We've recently added the 5 most popular rail and intermodal indices and the 5 most popular trucking indices. So you can view them by clicking on the plus sign, and it will drop down all of the data sets relative to that specific category. We have a lot of different categories here. Like I said, you can learn a lot more about them by going to the Knowledge Center and seeing what's all available, finding it in the chart underneath the category, and digging in. Just to save a little bit of time here, you can also type in the index as well. So if you, for example, are looking at OTVI, Outbound Tender Volume Index for the United States, and pull it up, it will populate that on the chart. It also will work if you click on the enter symbol, click on any category that you want, click on the plus sign, and click on the granularity that you want to view as well. The compare sign right underneath here, this is where you can compare an index to another index. For example, what we're looking at right now is outbound tender volume for the United States. If you wanted to look at outbound tender rejections for the United States, you can do the same thing by comparing it to comparing and typing in otri.usa. And since these two are different, so outbound tender volume is an index, outbound tender rejection is a percent. You will need to come up to the display and go to the dual y-axis. So when you turn on the dual y-axis, you have the main search on the right and the sub-search on the left. Also in display, you have absolute, which is what we were on at the beginning. Absolute is the absolute value for the given index. Relative is the percent change over the given time period that you are looking at on the chart. And I explained dual is when you're comparing 2 different types of data sets, like an index and a percent and a dollar sign. Looking at it on a dual Y chart is the best way to view that. I'm going to go back to absolute, and I'm going to delete this compare. I'm going to go back to display and show seasonality. So we have a seasonality function where you can see year over year. Some data sets we have multiple years. Our tender volumes and rejections were a little bit over a year, about a year and a half on those. So I'm going to back it down to about a year to look at previous years and click show seasonality. And you can see this year's volume compared to last year's volume on a national level, but you can do this on any market level you wish as well. I also like to look down here in the bottom right-hand corner. You can view it for a given time period. So you can view it for a month. You can view it for the last 6 months to see. You can do it for the last year. And on this specific seasonality, I like to do full year. Full year will show January to December, instead of what month are we in? September to September. So it'll show you January to December instead of September to September. And you can also kind of see like where it went last year, and maybe that will follow that, because certain markets have seasonality, obviously, and it might follow that, so you can kind of see in the future where the volumes or rejections might be going. I'm going to take off seasonality here. Go back up to display. We have a couple different chart styles. What you're currently looking at is mountain. You can also change it to a line view. We have candles. We have baseline view, where you can drag your baseline, which we have our volume index was baselined at 10,000. So I'm going to draw this up to 10,000, and you can see where it's green, it was above, and where it's red, it was below that baseline. Also under display, you can scroll down and you can do large fonts, and this makes it very big and easy to see, especially if you are screenshotting this, sending it out to your team or to a customer or anything like that. And down at the very bottom, we have themes. So we have a day and a night function. This one is day and the dark one is night. You can also click new theme in the bottom and change the colors. So you can change it to your favorite team's colors, your company's colors, or whatever works for you. You can change the background. You can change the grid lines. You name it, you can make it your own. The next one over is also, you just type in your theme here and click save, and that will be underneath your displays right here. The next one are the studies, and we have everything from moving averages, standard deviation, RSIs. You can do that all underneath studies. If you guys have any specific questions about that, please feel free to reach out to sonarsupport@freightwaves.com. The next one is our events tab on the chart here. I really like this for a lot of reasons, but if you turn on the events right here, turn on the events, it will show anytime that a FreightWaves article references Outbound Tender Volume Index for USA, so OTVI.USA, in one of our articles, it will populate on a chart the day that it was added. So you can see we have a huge spike right here. You can look and see, okay, did FreightWaves write an article about this on why there's a spike? Did they write about why there might have been a decline or what's going on in the market? As you can see, 4th of July, that's a holiday. You can see those declines. We have tons of articles on here. Some of the specific tabs might not be having a ton of events on there, but all of your main like volumes and rejections, you'll be able to pull up events and see them on here. The next one is the crosshair. You can click on that and move it around the chart to see exactly what day and what the value was. And we also have the info button, which is very similar to the crosshair, just gives you a little bit more info. And then the next one is our draw function. Our draw function is probably one of our favorite ones that a lot of people here use. You click select tool over here, and you can add callouts and trend lines onto a chart for yourself to remember what happened, or maybe you're sharing this with a customer update or a quarterly update. All you do is click on the one that you want to view, click on where you want to add it, type in whatever you wish, and click save. You can also drag and move it around. And the same thing with the trend line. You can scroll down to trend line and see from July 12th to September 1st what kind of increase or decrease you're looking at. You can view all of that underneath the draw function. I think that's it for the chart. I am going to walk over or click on the watch list. So I'm going to X out of here, go back up to the blue plus sign and click on watch list. And I'm going to click on manage symbols. You build all of the watch lists the exact same. We have the browse category right here. This is the exact same as a chart. So the exact same category and data sets you can view on a chart, you can also do on a watch list. It's the same drop down by clicking on the plus sign. The search function is where you can type in what you're specifically looking for and save that to a watch list. We also have existing lists for specific lane rejections out of specific market. You can view them underneath here as well. I'm just going to go to browse, go to the 5 most popular trucking indices, and I'm going to look at outbound tender reject index for all of our X markets and click add selected items. When I click done, I'm going to name it OTRI X markets. And I'm going to start out by looking at a standard watch list and click save. Standard watch list is a black and gray list view. You can sort it by value, you can sort it by actual change and percent change, or by the name here. You can also click on any of these and it will spawn a chart. The 3 dots on the right hand side, this has, if you wanted to do a 52-week low, a 52-week high, market share, you can add all of that to this watch list as well. The filter button is where you can filter the watch list by value change or percent change. So if you wanted to look at any value that was greater than 3 and click apply, it will take it down to only those markets that have a percent, a value greater than 3. I'm going to go back to edit and I'm going to show you guys a heat map list. It is the exact same as a standard watch list except it's color coded. You can see the green means that it is increasing and the red means that it is decreasing. So it's the exact same as the standard watch list. You can filter, sort, and add the exact same way as you can on their standard watch list. I'm going to go back to the edit symbol and I'm going to show you guys a tree map. The tree map is, you read it from top left to bottom right. Top left is the biggest value, the largest value. So Bismarck, North Dakota has the highest value at a 28% rejection rate. And the top number is the percent change day over day. You can also change the percent change time period to look at it week over week as well. And you can see the greens mean that it's going up and the reds mean that it's going down. You can also click on any of these and display a chart. You can filter this the exact same way as well as you can on the other watch list by value and percent change. The bottom right is your lowest value. Augusta, Maine is the lowest value at less than 1%. I'm going to go back to edit. I'm going to go to a scrolling ticker. And it's the exact same as everything else. If you click on it, it will spawn a chart. And this is great for if you have TVs in the office that you want to display. If you're showing this to somebody new or a customer, it's just a really cool feature that we have. You can also filter this the exact same way and sort the watch list by value change or percent change. I go back to edit. And I'm going to look at market table. Market table is really great to add multiple markets and multiple indices. Just for sake of time, I'm not going to rebuild one. But you can see on the left-hand side are all of our markets. And we're looking at outbound tender rejection index. You can also pull up volumes. You could pull up head haul. You could pull up wait time. You can do all of these here. and all of your markets on the left. You can select certain markets that you want to view only. If you were only in the Southeast, you could go through and select only the Southeast markets and do it that way as well. The bottom number is the value, and the top number is the percent change day over day. You can change that here as well and filter it down the exact same way as all the other watch lists. And if you click on it, it will also spawn a chart. I'm going to go back to edit, and I'm going to go to a gauge chart. The gauge chart shows a 52-week low and a 52-week high. In the middle is the current value. So as you can see, like we are at Bismarck, North Dakota, 28% rejection rate, and the 52-week high is up to 57%. So the closer it gets to the high or the low, it will turn red to green. And also sort this and filter it the same way as the other watch lists. That is all for the watch list. I'm going to skip down here to video, go back up to the blue plus sign and click on our video library. This houses all of our instructional videos. As you can see, we have some webinars on here, our FreightWaves Now. We also have news, our fuller speed ahead you can see here, and we have all of our videos from our previous events. Great thing to catch up on. Have it playing in the background while you're working, whatever works for you guys. You can view that all underneath the video widget. I'm going to X out of here and go back up to most volatile markets. The most volatile markets widget is the very similar that we, very same thing that we saw on the map, except it's not in a map format. So you can pick and choose which markets you want to view. Again, if you're operating in the Southeast and that's all you care about, you can go through and select the markets only in the Southeast. I'm going to click right here to show me markets that only have volatility in them, and I'm going to click Save. On the left-hand side are all of the markets that have some sort of volatility. And on the right top side, you can see outbound volume, outbound rejection, head haul, and tender lead time, and all the boxes underneath them. The numbers all mean the exact same thing in every box, but the only thing is different is the colored boxes. The colored boxes are the volatility. So it's the same way that you kind of read it on the map, but you can look at it and get a little bit more detail on the actual volatile market widget. So the bottom number is the value as of yesterday. So as you can see, Minneapolis, we're at a 14% rejection rate yesterday, and we are seeing a moderate increase in volatility. And week over week, there's a 4.8-ish% increase in rejections week over week. So like I said, the volatility is shows the high highs and the low lows without you having to go in and do the legwork in each and every market. So it's a great quick view of seeing something going out of its norm in a given market underneath a given index. For example, if you wanted to click on Minneapolis, you can see that their rejection percentage is at a 14, and it went from about a less than 10% to a 14% over the last, 7 days or so. That's a pretty significant increase of rejections out of Minneapolis. And you're also seeing that volatility just because it's the highest it's been since March. So you see those high highs and those low lows just by looking at the volatility market. I think I went through everything for today, covered all of the widgets. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A tool in the bottom. And again, if you would like to do a deeper dive in understanding the power of all of Sonar datasets, we'll be happy to help you get set up on a dedicated session for you specifically or any other users at your company. You can email your customer success rep, or if you aren't sure of who that is, please email sonarsupport@freightwaves.com, and we will be happy to help you. Again, tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern Time, we will have our 201 by our market expert, Donnie Gilbert, going over all of our data sets that are, I guess, our top 5 data sets for you guys to view in the day-to-day. And Thursday at 11 a.m. is we'll have a different market expert. I'm not sure off the top of my head who that is this week, but they'll be going over in depth about data sets relative to their expertise. So again, thank you guys for your time. If you have any questions, please drop them below and we'll be happy to answer them for you. Doesn't look like we have any questions today. All of you guys that were on the call will receive a recording either today or tomorrow. Thank you guys for your time, and we look forward to talking in the future. Again, email sonarsupport@freightwaves.com if you have any questions. Thank you.